We have something to say with Leonard Watson, Kenneth Lively. He'll be on in just a second. There he is. We're also broadcasting on Instagram at Big Papa
Yeah. Hold
4904
on a second, sir.
6376. Um, I hope that you'll come on and join us. Let me see if I can get us up and running on Instagram right quick, and hope we won't have a echo, but we might. What's up, Kenneth?
Ain't nothing going on with Brent.
There seems to be some delay in our feedback. Okay, we're gonna get through this today. Um, it's been an interesting week, don't you think, Kenneth?
It always is.
It's an interesting week. I want to address this subject, and I think that it can probably be a third rail to a lot of us in the African American community. And the question becomes, because I was sitting there thinking, I watched the Drewski skit where he was talking about mega churches, mega pastors, which has gotten 80 million views. And it struck a damn nerve with all these mega pastors and some pastors. And I watched Lamont Hill and Michael Eric Dyson talk about it, which Michael Eric Dyson is a British pastor. I mean, a Baptist British pastor, a Baptist pastor. And Kenneth, make sure we're showing up on your page too, because I did my settings public, so it should show up on your page as well as my page. Last week, people said they couldn't see us. Um, and let me get back to what I was saying. And in Drewski's film, he's in the air wearing these shoes with the red bottoms. Kenneth, I don't know if you've seen it, and he says, "I'm bathed in the blood of Jesus," and it got me to thinking. At my age, I'm protected by the blood of Jesus. That's what he said, and it got me thinking, because I can go off on these um, tangents. Did I feel protected by the blood of Jesus after I was 25? Um, and did the African American church still work for me? And the answer for me was a bona fide no. Um, I haven't felt protected by the blood of Jesus the way it's been taught to me in years. Which is probably why I don't go to church. And it's not probably why I don't go to church. I don't go to church. I don't go to church because I don't trust African American pastors. I haven't found one that I'm willing to walk behind and listen to and believe that that person has the protection of my community in their best interest. And I've dealt with a lot of pastors in the past. I think the last pastor I can say I unequivocally trusted was Benjamin Anderson at Bell Terrace Presbyterian Church, because I just thought he was just a great human being. I just remember him being so empathetic and so nice, and the way he treated us as kids. That he and let me take that back. And Dr. Barbara King, when I went to her church, I just thought that she was for her congregation. Um, I look at where we are right now, and the way I got to this point is interesting to see if Marion is going to come on here and comment. I look at where we are right now, and I just wonder, uh, has the African American church lived up to what it's supposed to live up to in protecting the community? Have the pastors who ask us for our tithes and our offerings, have you really lived up to what you're supposed to do? Because if you ask me right now, y'all been riding on the gravy for a while that when we really, really need you, you haven't stood up. You haven't stood up. Me and Kenneth, it's common knowledge on here that we have two diametrically opposed views on what's going on, views going on how it should be handled. How about that? Because we are very, very much in sync probably with what's going on. But I don't feel like African American pastors have, maybe with the exception of Jamal, who's out there who understands social media, Otis Moss, um, um, I forgot his name. A neighbor of mine that grew up in the neighborhood we brought our first house. He's now a pastor out in Chicago. Really good, Reggie. I can't believe I'm forgetting Reggie's name. I'm sure my daughters will come in here and tell me in a second. But other than that, I think that they have led from the back. They have not stepped up to this moment. And in my humble opinion, we are the most vulnerable community in the country. We control nothing, literally nothing. The only thing we control in our community is our bodies. We don't control manufacturing. We don't control banking. We have no access to capital markets. And we get on here, every time I get on the internet, I get on and I watch people and I talk to Marion about it. Me and Marion have talked a lot, Kenneth, in the last 2 weeks. We end up calling each other during the day. And I always ask him, am I just crazy? Is this just a crazy viewpoint? Because we literally control nothing. Take that back. We control our bodies. And what we control, we don't use to the full leverage to create change. And we don't have African American pastors, and I call them pastors, I don't call them shepherds, that lead from the front. I don't believe that there's any church that I could join that is full of enough men, because the African American church is losing men in the droves. Man, dude, in my neighborhood, the African American churches are losing membership like crazy. They're bleeding membership. And it's because men don't go to church. So the question has become, why don't African American men go to church? Why are the numbers dwindling to the point that they're dwindling? And I believe it's because we don't believe what the pastors are saying. We no longer buy it. It doesn't serve us for what we see in our everyday lives. It doesn't serve us in the sense that you can get a group of men together to say, this is how our community is going to be run, and we're not taking no for an answer. And we're willing to put our bodies and our lives on the line to say, this is the protection we're willing to provide our community. I'm not talking about relationships, man-female relationships. We can get in all that. I'm talking about basic protection and safety in our neighborhoods. It is amazing to me, and I'm going to let you cut in because I really want to hear what you got to say, that you have these extremely talented orators who are pastors all over the fucking country, who cannot get together in a room, or I haven't seen it. Let me be clear. Kenneth always says, it may be happening, you don't know it. I haven't seen it. And come to a strategy that will protect our community in every way, from spiritually, financially, mentally. It's amazing to me. These are supposed to be smart men. And they can't get into a room to come up with a strategy to say, hey, how are we going to deal with this coming doom? How are we going to get people out to vote in the midterms? How are we going to get our voter participation up, as me and Kenneth always say, higher than 30%? That they can't sit their egos aside to come up with another Niagara movement, or for the last night I just went to this deep dive about Richard Allen, the founder of the AME Church, and how he came up with this national convention that people would literally come from all over the country. We're talking about on horse and buggy. They would come to Philly to be a part of this convention, to take back to their respective neighborhoods and congregations. I can't see it. But I want you to talk. I'm open to being wrong, to saying, learn. They do it all the time. I don't see it. I don't see capital investment in our communities. I see us give a lot of money to churches, but I don't see capital investment. So what you think? What you think? Go for it.
Well, first of all, I just checked with Marion. He said he can't see the broadcast.
Okay.
So
Okay, cool.
I don't know how he normally sees it.
On Facebook. I'm about to pull up right here. Okay, you keep talking.
It's on my page. I can see it on my page. So I don't know. I told him to go to my page, but I see it.
Okay, cool. Let me see what's going on. You keep talking. Go
So
ahead.
actually, yeah, do a post or something like that. Say, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I got it.
Do a post
You
and
keep
say
talking.
and tag
got
me. Okay.
I got it.
So, in reference to what you said, Um, I do agree with you on in terms of black male participation in the church has declined. Um, I never thought about why. Let's say this: I I grew up in the church. I went to Ever Faithful Baptist Church every Sunday when I was a kid, almost every Sunday, and I mean almost every Sunday in the choir, on the junior usher board, all that stuff growing up, all that stuff. So I spent a lot of my youth in church, and man, he said he can't. Marion said he can't see or hear. She went to my page. He said he can't see or hear.
Okay. I'm
That's
trying to figure it out
interesting.
right now. Go ahead.
In the church, I went to Ever Faithful Baptist Church. But the church, as I got older, we sort of diverge away from the church when we get older. We lean away from because different circumstances. A lot of times because, okay, I'm grown now. I can do what I want to do. Or we out partying on Saturday night and we decide, no, I can't get up to go to church the next morning. I ain't go to bed till 3 o'clock, and they want to have service at 9, and they gonna go to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, or 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Or I got to go to the game, or this and that. Just a myriad of reasons why we stop going. Um, and as we get a little bit older, maybe get more settled and get married, we tend to go back to the church as a family and all of that. For me, one of the reasons why I stopped going is because, how do I phrase this? The I realized that I was hearing pretty much the same sermon over and over again, the same type of sermon. No matter what the issue was, it was pretty much the same type of stuff that I heard growing up, stuff that I remember, things that I remember from the Bible, and the stories and all of that. And I decided I don't need to go to church in order for me to understand what I need to do to get into the kingdom of heaven. I mean that's pretty much it for me. Um, I do go when I did go. I love the last pastor I had, Cynthia Hale, and she is in that frame of what's the phrase I'm looking for? That frame of leadership that pushes voting rights. As a matter of fact, when I attended regularly, she had me on the we created a committee to get people to vote, and we started doing, I should say, a committee, a ministry, getting people registered to vote, getting them getting them to understand what you need to do in order to vote, the issues and all of that. So she's progressive in that manner. She didn't hold back, and she wasn't one of those preachers that was scared to um, listen to or to preach about the craziness that's going on in our government. Now, I haven't been there in a couple of years, so I know she's going. She's doing a lot of crazy. What should I say? Like, she's saying what needs to be said from the pulpit in reference to our people and voting and the things that Donald Trump is doing and all that. Because she never liked Donald Trump at all, and she's never let it be known. What's I'm saying? She never hid her feelings about him, which I understand and I appreciate. So there are some preachers out there that do it. They're just not the ones that get all the attention. Um, I don't consider her a mega church preacher or anything like that, but she has a nice sized congregation and she does what she's supposed to do. I think what it is that a lot of preachers may talk about. Well, let's say this. A lot of preachers are afraid to talk about what's going on in present day, other than sinning, the easy stuff, the low hanging fruit. they, and it's kind of funny because she mentioned this, and I'm doing this from my point of view, from what I see and listening to her and talking to her. She mentioned this to me, and she said that in the pulpit too, that the whole thing of preachers should stay away, the whole thing of separation of church and state, and that churches can lose their status, was it 501c3 or whatever their status is, whatever status churches have, that they can lose that if they start talking about politics and preaching and putting one candidate over another candidate they endorse, putting that person, uh, um, saying that they endorse that person from the pulpit. They say they can't do it. So that's a fine line, and some of them are even scared to get close to that line, which is a shame because I think they need to do that. And as you say, that might be the reason why a lot of preachers are not doing that. They're not preaching the gospel from a point of view of how what's the word I'm looking for? How we should lead, how they should lead their flock to. I'm sorry, man. I'm just kind of fogged this morning
That's
about
all
what
right.
I'm
No,
trying
no,
to
you're
say.
good. You're good. We got it. We got it.
But
Go for it.
they're afraid of the IRS getting involved, or somebody filming them and getting it and put it on the internet or whatever, and the backlash from it. And they don't think that, in my opinion, the gospel should be used to educate and elevate people, and they're afraid that it's going to come back on if they say that. So we shouldn't. I think that may be the reason why we do need more preachers that are out there talking about what they should be doing, and what we as a people should be doing, and how we should be using the gospel to help our people. Um, and even if you don't want to do that from the pulpit, you can do that from the pew. You can do that on the street. You can get involved. I think that any church that does not do anything outside the church doors, only cares about the people that's inside the church doors, I think that's a problem. I've always had a problem with that because the black church, as you know, if you stated several times, the black church has always been the forefront of civil rights. For the most part, civil rights movement started in the black church, even if it wasn't officially started there. In some places, the men who were part of it, the men who stood up and said no more, were probably, well, more than likely 99% of the time they were members of the church, deacons of the church, men in the church, and all of that. So how we got away from that, I'm not sure. And it may be because, like I said, people are afraid, pastors are afraid uh, that this will blow back on them. And the way I see it, as many, and it's funny because you have black preachers who are afraid to say this, to say anything political from the pulpit, but you have white preachers who will do it all the time. They do it almost every Sunday, and nobody says anything to them. It's not a. So if they did do that, the IRS or whomever would come down, they come on down on these preachers. It would be selective punishment, because white preachers do it, put it online, do it. They don't care. They don't care at all. And I really and truly, it's funny because I don't understand why that's even an issue. Maybe, I mean, I don't know why the government cares about uh, 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 whether or not a church takes a political stance on a candidate or an issue. I don't understand that. It All the stuff that's going on with our government. The last thing I think they should be worried about is whether or not Reverend Leonard Watkins is saying that we need to get our people to vote for this candidate. That shouldn't be an issue. That shouldn't be an issue the government needs to worry about. There's too much stuff going on in this country for them to worry about that. So I agree with you on that, and it could be a whole host of issues of why black men don't go, but I think that's one of them. The lack of political awareness in the church now. And everybody, and I can't speak for every mega church preacher, because I don't know all of them. I don't listen to their sermons or anything like that. But I think that if more churches did do that, took a stance, I think it would be better for our community.
I,
Hey, give me 1 second, man. I gotta take care of something right quick.
you,
Go ahead. I'm listening.
I think if you're not seeing us right now on my Facebook page or Kenneth's Facebook page, shoot me a quick text, particularly you, Marion, because it says that hey, we're public to everybody and everybody should be able to see us. And when I pull it up, I can see it on my page and Kenneth's page. Uh, I think the issue I'm having right now is we don't want to have. I'm trying to be better. In my opinion, we don't want to have honest conversations about really where we are. We don't want to have, and particularly black men of my generation, men who were born between 1965 and let's say 1975. I'm just going to do that 10-year average. And we don't want to have these conversations that we have literally abandoned the church, and what is the reasons why we abandoned the church. When you go back and you look at what Richard Allen would accomplish, and a lot of us don't know about Richard Allen, Richard Allen and Absalom Jones, who were the co-founders of the AME Church, and what Richard Allen did. If you go and just look up some of the stuff he did, and you'll realize that Richard Allen was a brilliant man. In 1797, Absalom Jones and Richard Allen were brilliant men. He was born in 1760 as a slave, and and as a slave, and by 1797 they had created um, the first and the longest running African American church in the country. And Richard Allen didn't do this just because he was preaching the gospel. He knew that the only safe space for black people to go and talk about stuff was a church. It was a church. And he knew that all these men were looking for something, all these former slaves and free men, because Philadelphia had a large free, and that's what I'm looking for, kind of freeman population, that they were looking for something and grouped together to protect one another. And then he had the vision to set up churches all across the country, because they were a part of the greater Episcopal Church, which was a white church, and they would only let them preach at 5 a.m. in the morning. And they didn't want those restrictions on them. But black people would come to church to hear them preach at 5 a.m. in the morning. And so
I didn't know that part about the 5 a.m. thing.
yeah, they could only preach
I
at
did not
5
know
a.m.
that.
in the morning. That's the only time that the Episcopal Church that set up the white structure would let them preach. So black people came to see him at 5 a.m. in the morning. If you don't find a way, those pastors, I always tell people, I can't follow pastors, I can follow shepherds. I always say Malcolm was a shepherd. I always say Martin was a shepherd. I believe Ralph David Abernathy was a shepherd. They had their own political bullshit going in within the movement and different stuff, because that's what men do. They were misogynistic, they were male chauvinistic, they all were, because it was women. But that's a whole nother story we could talk about. Stacy has always wanted to talk about Jamil. But the truth of the matter is, they created these churches and these groups because that was the only safe space you can go and talk, because they weren't letting black men congregate. And after Nat Turner, they damn sure wouldn't let you congregate. But there's nothing that just talking to me about Jesus Christ and the blood of Jesus Christ, and God will protect you, and there's gonna be some damn streaming invisible chariot of horses and fire coming out of the earth because people are scared to say it. That's bullshit to me at this point. I live in a black community right now that we're trying to make changes to, not changes to chase people out, but changes to make people feel safe so it can be a viable, thriving African American community with a view of downtown Atlanta. And I don't none of them appeal to me. I don't think I could walk up to any one of them and say, hey, man, let's go talk to the local drug dealer and say, hey, look, man, we got to come to some conclusion about how we're going to operate within this community. Because you don't want to have these comments. People don't want to have these conversations. So you don't appeal to me. You don't appeal to people like me and Kenneth who you need to come in and get the church back to where it was. It's people like us. And our responsibility is we almost to a certain degree, we haven't gone and made our presence known. Like Brian always tells me, you need to go join the NAACP and stop bitching about it. You're right. You need to go join the Urban League and stop bitching about it. It's one thing to get on here and bitch about it. It's another thing to get in there and say, like Roland says, to get on the inside and start making some changes. And until you get people where it's a group, it's 10 Leonard and Kenneths who say, hey, where you need me to be for a particular tough situation any given time, so motherfuckers ain't gonna fuck with you because you're trying to protect the community, because at the end of the day, our will is going to be the will that's going to be enforced in this community because it's for the better good of the community. You're gonna have a space to operate, but you're not gonna have a space to dominate. Because there's more of us, and we want to have a quality community, understanding the nuances of the community. From rich folks to middle class folks to crack addicts to all those people who are part of our community. They all are part of our community. But you don't appeal to me to do that. I've talked to pastors around here, and I'm like, shit, I ain't coming to your church. Y'all gathering. Y'all getting damn near $20 billion a year. And I don't have a problem with Jamal Bryant getting paid $45,000 a month. Yeah, y'all do, I don't. I have a problem if he's not in the forefront leading the fight and asking other people to get out there to lead the fight. I have a problem if you're not leading from the front. Because if you want to damn get people to follow you, you got to lead. You got to be willing to put your ass on the line so people can see it. People follow the work. And as Black African American males, we have failed at that. We have failed to come together as a group to say, this is our goddamn neighborhood. Here go the rules. This is how you're going to engage over here. And you come up here and start this shit after we've asked you number of time, okay, well, we're going to have to speak with you in your language. I was just talking to an APD officer last week, Kenneth. I meant to tell you this. And he literally said to me, as we were talking, I asked him, is it just so much y'all can do? He said, Leonard, you just hit the nail on the head. It ain't but so much we can do. A lot of that's going to be on y'all. Ain't but so much we can do with the rules they giving us. I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. But it ain't but so much we can do. And you and I both know that police only come in after the crime is committed. Would that be an accurate statement?
Normally they're a reactionary force. That's what it is.
So proactive means that the men get into the neighborhood. Because come here, Kenneth, right now I got a complaint. I want you to hear that. I meant to tell you this. So I got a phone call the other day. I'm the NPU chair, Kenneth, right? I don't have any peace certificate. I have a gun, but I don't have a right to go out shooting anybody. And guess what they asked me to do? Go down to the park, about a mile away from here. It's in my neighborhood. Because some guys done set up a shop during the day down there selling drugs. Will you go down there and talk to them?
What kind of drugs are they selling down there? I'm just curious, because is anybody still doing hard drugs anymore?
Yeah. People, yeah. The heroin trade hasn't died down. They just
okay.
It's just not as big as it over here as it used to be. It was concentrated over here. You know, they wanted it over here because they could control it from getting outside of here. Now it's
you got white folk down there.
Yeah. We don't see as many as we used to. But so I asked her, what do you want me to do? Or you want me to go down there by myself? What do you want me to do? Like, I don't have a problem going down there talking to. I made the point of talking to anybody. Like, hey man, look, I see what you're doing. This is what's gonna happen, but I need you to do this. Can you do this? Can we find some common ground? But now they want me to go down and say, and I got a text message from one of we have them call them stakeholders, Kenneth. Stakeholders, which are typically developed people who own property over here, but they don't live over here, but they own apartments over here, who calls, hey man, can you help us do something about all the gunfire and the guns in the neighborhood? You know, it's really, really bringing down our property value. White person, cool people. And you know what I told her? I said, I hear what you're saying, but maybe y'all ought to call the legislator and ask them why they made them so damn available and they flooding the neighborhood with them and they so easily to get. But on the other side of that token, we still got to provide safe spaces for our kids and our women to operate. And who the hell wants to operate in a neighborhood where you don't know where gunfire is coming from or what fool's gonna get into it with the other fool over some bullshit and pull out a gun? Because there's no consequence to their behavior from the community.
Also, well, in reference to that, I think one of the things that could help is just police presence. That's the first line of law enforcement. Just presence, just being there.
You think?
So,
Can I say something before you go on? Can
yeah,
I say?
seriously,
I want you to hear
go
this.
ahead, go ahead.
We have a program down here. So I've been getting all these calls, right? So we have a program down here. And if you haven't been up here, well, you came up because you came to a game. I just didn't take you through the neighborhood. So I'm gonna take the next time you come to a game, I'm gonna say, hey, let's take 10 minutes to ride through my neighborhood. So because I want you to see it. Because you're a former cop, and this is why I want you to see it. So we have a program that allow police officers to come in and get newly built houses that they can't sell for 5 years. Right? Because we want a police presence, police vehicles, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I've heard of programs like that. Yeah.
So now the complaint of what they're asking me to do, the community, and there is a valid complaint, is okay. We gave you we get you getting this program that gives you $100,000 down, $100,000 down, Kenneth. If you stay here for 5 years, you don't have to pay it back. Your property appreciates, and all we asking you to do is kind of walk the neighborhood, or make your presence felt in the neighborhood, like you say, right? Then we get pushback.
Well, I wasn't talking about off duty.
Huh?
You get pushback from officers?
Yes. I mean, I don't want to walk the neighborhood when.
Why are they saying? What are they?
I don't want to walk the neighborhood
Well,
when my shift over. But that's why you got the house.
Well, this is the thing. This is the other thing, a part of it too. They've had that program for years in a lot of jurisdictions, but
Yes.
it's with apartment complexes.
Yes.
And it works to a certain extent. If somebody knows there's an officer there, the only problem is, officer may have to respond to stuff when they're off duty, when they're asleep or whatever, because they don't want to call. The police don't want to call 911. They just want to go get the officer, knock on the officer's door. What I was saying about police presence, I was just talking about on-duty officers. I wasn't talking about living in the neighborhood. That's a good idea. What you're talking about is a very good idea, and it also, especially if it's a young officer, it helps them tremendously. And this is the thing is, walking around the neighborhood. I say this, community policing is a key to a lot of bullshit in our community. Just people knowing an officer, seeing an officer, and saying what's up. I tell you, when I worked in Stone Mountain, and Stone Mountain is a pretty small city and all that. There was a lady who, it's so funny. She hated me, just hated me, because I chased her son one time because it was gunfire at somebody was firing shots at a park, and I saw him. He was the only one out there, and he started running. I don't know what he running for. So I chased him, and
on my page or Kenneth page.
you know your things though, right? I can hear you, right?
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm getting complaints that can't nobody see it, so I'm trying to take care of it.
Yeah, no.
People want to see your pretty. People want to see your
I've been
pretty
texting
face.
with Marion about the same thing.
Yeah. So, all right, Mary, let me try to take care
I
of it.
don't blame him. It does brighten people's day.
Yeah, people want to see your pretty face.
Um, yeah. like I said, I don't blame them. I do make people's day just by looking at me. Uh,
He said, "You know we
oh,
can."
but anyway, this lady hated my guts, man. She hated my guts, and it's so funny because I said I chased her son and all that, took him into custody. Turns out he wasn't the one that had. He might have had it, but he ditched it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. One day I started when I was working day shift. I started working going up to bus stop and just sitting there when the kids got out went to school. That's all I did. Just sat there. I didn't do anything. Um, every once in a while, somebody run a stop sign near the bus stop. I give them a ticket. That stopped all the people running the stop signs, and turns out the people in the community were upset because people were doing it. They were speeding through the neighborhood, and if while the kids were waiting on the bus, they were worried that some of these kids might get hit by a car. Just by doing that, that lady came to either told my chief or came to a city council meeting, and praised me like no end. She said, "I don't like him, but I like what he's doing now." So community policing is the key. Even if you're on duty, just get out and talk to people. Don't just ride around. Talk to people. Like you going up there with the they want you to go and talk to the drug dealers. A cop can go and talk to the drug dealers on duty. He ain't got to come up there with the guns drawn, trying to arrest nobody. Just walk up to them and have a conversation. I've done that. Guys I know was selling drugs, but I didn't see them doing any was a hand-to-hand drug exchange at the time. But I knew they were out there selling drugs, so I go up and talk to them. Just have a conversation. Like, yo, man, I know what you're doing out here, man. Just, hey, chill with all that out here. If you don't do it somewhere else. You know, you got the kids around here. We want the kids to be safe, blah, 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 all this stuff. Have a conversation with them. Let them know who you are. You ain't got to go in there cussing them out or or get up against the wall, all that stuff, and searching them and all. You ain't got to do all that. Just being there and do it consistently. Ride by during your shift. Ride by the area a couple of times during the shift. Just randomly ride by. That right there does more to keep a community safe than anything else you can do. I'm telling you, because if they don't know one, if they know you coming, they're going to. I mean, let's say this: if they don't know you coming, you just show up randomly and just talk to them. They will get to know you as a person, as opposed to just that officer, that asshole officer that always fucking with us. And then when stuff go down, them the same people you can talk to. Yo, man, who's really doing all that damn shooting the other night? Oh yeah, that was old boy. I can't stand that motherfucker, man. He always doing stupid shit like that. I'm telling you, man. That's how it works. That's how it works. Helping people, talking to them, giving them advice, life advice. Those are the little things that help. And in reference to the church can do the exact same thing. You don't always have to come out there and say, "Hey, can I pray for you?" Nobody want to hear that. I'm telling you now, they don't want to hear it. But if you come in there, "Hey, brother, what's going on? I'm Pastor so-and-so. I'm Reverend so-and-so. Just want to check on you, man. See how you doing. See if I can help you with anything." Stuff like that. That's what we need. And you going out there, and I say this. If you do go out there, don't go out there by yourself. Not because they're going to do anything to you. But yeah, show is not just one person that's trying to talk, that wants to, stop this. Just go out there and talk to them. Regular conversation, even if it's about sports. Hey, y'all see that game the other night, man? They're going to look at you like you're crazy. But eventually they're going to get into it. And they're going to recognize you. Tell them who you are. Tell them what you do. Those type things. It's not something that it's not difficult to do. People are afraid to do it. Did you just mute your phone? Your thing?
I'm listening.
Uh, oh, okay. No, I just it went silent all of a sudden. That's why to make sure something went
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah, I'm
But
listening.
yeah, just we officer presence and male presence is key. It's key. And even if you like, you get, and I say this, if we start with the younger men and be consistent with the younger men throughout their life as they matriculate through middle school, high school, because most not public, most elementary school students, they're not bad from Jump Street. They don't get that. They get that way. They develop over time because people are permissive and allow them to keep doing stuff, and when it escalates, they don't stop them. So if you can get an elementary school student, like fourth grade, who's still scared of his teachers, still scared of his parents and all that, and talk to them as a group and get them to be together, hold each other accountable. That can go a long way. That can go a long way. I say this about both of my children, but especially Kenny. Kenny grew up in the church we went to, Ray of Hope. He grew up in that church. There's a young man that's going to Tuskegee along with Kenny. They've known each other since they were infants. They were in daycare at the church at the exact same time. They've known each other that long. Now they don't hang out every day and all that, and but I know for a fact if Kenny needed something or he needed something, they got each other's back, and they hold each other accountable, which is good, which is what we need. Peer pressure can go either way, good or bad. Unfortunately, we don't use our peer pressure for the most part in a positive way. But those are two things that we can do. So it's a thing of, in order to end a multi generational, I shouldn't say curse, but I will use the word curse, a multi generational curse. You need a multi generational solution, and you got to start one generation at a time. Your grandson, how many grandchildren you have? One or two or three?
Four, four,
You had to think about it, man. You,
four.
you had to think
Yeah, I
about
did.
it.
I did have to think about it.
Yeah, yeah.
I did have to think about it. So we have four.
Oh, you a grandpa for real.
You're really trying to be funny.
I'm not gonna ask you to give me their names. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna ask you to give
I
me their
can
names
name
because
all.
that'll take 5 minutes for you to think of all their
No,
names. You'd have to write them down first.
no. I actually have five. I actually have
Yeah,
five.
like I said, yeah. I'm not gonna ask you to write their names down or anything like that because you be have to. Um, I ain't sure about the spelling on this one, but that sounds about right. Yeah, that's grandpa thing right there. But what the reason why I say that is this: I know you said your grandson. I don't know if it's the same grandson, but he played football, and he played football, right?
Hmm.
And you going out there and watching the game, giving him advice before and after the game. He appreciates that. You don't have any sons. I have a son. When I coached Kenny's team when he was young, he loved it. He
I got a
loved
son.
that I coached him. He
I
loved
got a
it.
son.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about it. Well, I'm sure you did the same thing with him
Yeah, yeah,
if he
when
played
he was
sports or
playing.
whatever he did.
Right.
Yeah, those are things they appreciate that type of male presence. And when I was coaching, I found out a lot of mothers, single mothers, they wanted to bring their sons out there to play sports because they wanted them to have a male voice in their life. Now it's funny because a lot of them didn't want to play sports. Well, a few of them didn't want to play sports, but they appreciated a male voice. Even if you chastising them for something doing something wrong, just to have a male chastise them is totally different than when you have a female chastising them. A woman chastising. They hear mama's voice all the time, and they can do the same thing around mama, and mama tell them 10,000 times they don't want to hear it. But as soon as a man say, "Hey man, you know you're wrong for that. Sit your butt down," all of a sudden it means something. So And like I said, we need to end a multi-generational curse. We got to have a generational or multi-generational solution. And it starts with us stepping up. Like we say all the time, we got to step up. And getting back to the church, church needs to do it as well. Get out in the community. Make people know, let people know that, man, you know something? I'm going to tell you something. This something just popped up on my screen. Irks the hell out of me. How is it that my bill, I got a bill that's past due, my Georgia natural gas. I'm trying to figure out if I just paid you, why is it past due again? I just paid you.
You paying it? You
How
paying
is
it?
it?
Or you paying it late?
I pay it all. I pay it all. I paid it. It ain't that much. So, and that's why, it's not that much, but I don't know. It seems like every 2 weeks I get a bill. I'm trying to figure out why I keep getting a bill every 2 weeks. Like, can a brother just get one bill once a month? Because it seems like it's every 2 weeks. And it seems like it's always past due. I pay it, 2 weeks later, they talk about it's past due. I'm trying to figure that out. I don't know, man. It's this whole paying bills by yourself bullshit is some bullshit, in my opinion. But I digress. Um, we we do need to do this. We need to in order for the church to get black males back in, we have to be a lot more proactive in the community. And we can't always come with Jesus saves and the blood of Jesus and all of that. We can't lead with that. Can't lead with that. We got to lead with what's going on, bruh. How you doing? That's what we need to lead with. We and do it with the young men in the community. Don't just start with adults because adults, for the most part, are set in their ways. So start with the young ones. You don't have to invite them to church. Just go out there and talk to them. Do programs in the community, sports programs. Rev Hope used to do a sports program back in the day. I don't think they still do it now. Well, yeah, we used to have a football, baseball, and basketball teams. The majority of the kids that played didn't even go to our church. But that brought that gave those young men some sense of structure and a sense of how how they're supposed to act. Once again, a male figure in their life. Those are the type of things we did,
I think the
and they had
question we need,
softball teams too.
I think the question that we need to um you and I both agree that it's a cultural issue. It's going to take time. What we don't agree on, well, I ain't gonna say we don't agree on. What we don't discuss is how are we going to be able to move the needle before November 4th of next year, and what is it going
You
to
mean
take?
this year?
Yeah, this year. What is it going to take? And between me and you, for some reason, our show is popping up on Facebook. I see it on mine. I see it on yours. A couple people have seen it,
Yeah.
and so I don't really know what else I can do. So I'm gonna have to. I thought I got all the glitches
Well,
out of it.
yeah. Marion says he can't hear it. He can
Right,
see us. He
right,
can't
and
hear it. And then he said it popped off altogether, went off altogether.
yeah,
Because I told him to go to my page.
yeah. So I made it public.
And this is between me and you. Because hold up, it is between me and you. Because ain't nobody else on there.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Let's see. We're gonna do this again. Um,
But how do we get people? How do we get our community excited to vote? I say this, I'm being real honest about this. If you aren't excited about getting things changed after all that's went on this past year, all the thing that Trump and his administration, his cronies and his co-conspirators have done this year, nothing will. Nothing's gonna motivate you. Let's be real. If you're not motivated to vote now and to change the way things are by using your vote, you never nothing ever will. You just one of those lost causes. That's just the long and short of it. We can't sugarcoat the shit. We can't sit back and wait on your ass to figure it out either. Because the time is now. Now I will say this something, and I've said this before. We need to get people to um, what's the word I'm looking for? We need to start registering the next generation. Those, as I've said before, every day there's a teenager in our community that turns 18. Every day. It's not every other day. It's not once a month. It's not every 2 weeks. Every day, a teenager in our community turns 18, and we should be registering them to vote. We should be discussing with them. Matter of fact, before they even turn 18, by the time they're 15, they should understand the importance of voting. It's not something that we need to, excuse me, it's not something that we need to do uh, uh, um, every once in a while or once a month or anything. We need to do that every day. Talk to them about it. Talk to them about the importance of voting. Talk to them about um, why they should vote, and it ain't got nothing to do with, because we have a tendency to talk about, and you do this a lot, Leonard, talk about the historical part of voting or why we need to vote. We need to focus more on how it's affecting you right now, because they don't have a connection to, like, let's say a 15-year-old now. You and I are old enough where we can have 15-year-old grandchildren, correct?
Yeah,
Hello,
I'm here.
15-year-old grandchildren.
Yeah, I'm gonna do something real
Um,
quick. How much time you got? You
they
got you in a rush? You got to be
no,
someplace? Okay, so look, I'm gonna switch back over to StreamYard. Even though
man, we about to have Isageddon up here. I ain't going no damn where.
okay, so I'm gonna switch it over to StreamYard, and we're gonna come back on in 6 minutes. All right,
Mm,
all right,
good. That's enough time to use the bathroom again.
all right. Yeah, you do that. We're gonna
'Cause
come
I'm
back
sick
on.
as hell. I've been sick for the last few days. All
Yeah,
right.
all right.